I don't know what happened, but I looked over and it said your live has ended. So don't know what happened. Don't know why, how, ifs, ands, buts, anything like that. But this is the Window Film Shine program, where we are building a structured, hands-on, industry-based experience program where the whole goal is to first start off with a high school program that we can hand to a high school teacher here in Colorado, and he can teach his students with it. That starts from a base set of skills and kind of moves up, separates the skills from like basic skills all the way up to more advanced skills. And so we can have a structured way to train someone and teach them window tint. And then from there, we can take them to the whole next step and we can make a structured training program that can be spread out across the country and across the world to build a sort of like apprenticeship accreditation program. So that's the whole goal with that one. So want to thank everyone for being here, everyone for jumping on, and we're going to rock and roll. Part of last week, what we were working on, let's add the screen on here. And let's bring it up. All right. Last week, what we were working on was a little bit more of the shop standards kind of area. Kind of going over at first, like if someone were to come in and knew absolutely nothing, what's up, Ray? And if they knew absolutely nothing about window film at all or working in a shop at all, like where do we start, right? So we're kind of thinking of that kind of stuff. We got a lot of shop standards set up, a lot of intro level stuff, and this will grow as we get going. But now we're kind of moving on to, we dove into some of the process overview to kind of look at some of the skill sets that we're teaching. Not as much here about just, how do we put it, little steps all along the way, but like break it down like a bunch of different skill sets that you need, So we kind of started with that, and looks like we're on to some of that. I feel like now would be a good time to start bringing up some prep stuff. We talked a lot about before about just kind of going over some stuff, I guess. A part of this, like the thought process behind what if we start with like a process overview and go from there, was trying to find a way. What's up, Tim? Good to have you on, man. Thanks for coming. What we were trying to find a way to, how do we put it? To just get everything down, brainstorm, get it out, get it on paper, right? And then once you get it there, now let's work on rearranging it. Was kind of the goal we were looking at, was going with this route. So we went over some, looks like we talked about some shrinking types, hand cutting techniques, which that'll be a fun one. I mean, people use markers. I've yet to see anyone hand cut the way that I was taught. And that'll be neat to see. So, and again, I'm going to post if anyone wants to come on. So someone showed me this doesn't show up in the chat. So let me cheat real quick and go over to Facebook and actually post it in the chat. If anyone wants to come on, you can. If not, I totally understand. I just want to make sure that every week I make the invite and I let you know that you are more than welcome to come on. So there we go. Should see that pop up in a minute. So you can click that link if you want to come on. If not, again, I completely understand. I know everybody's got stuff going on, house stuff, home stuff, all that kind of cool stuff. So let's go back over here. All right. So I guess, and a couple of things I'm thinking, I was thinking the other day, and I wonder if it would be better to go over, to break down the process and then come into like the process overview. Because some of this was just like, let's get this out of our head and get it on paper, was a big thing. So I wonder if we were looking at like a good starting point. Because the other day I wondered if it would be good to start with like prep, right? Like the vehicle gets pulled into the bay. What next? We talked some about like where keys go for vehicle care. So I would think now, let's see, shop standards. Let's make this stuff so it's easier to see. We'll bold it and underline it, so it's a little bit easier to see the different sections that we're working on here. Again, sometimes things don't have to come out as like the most organized right off the bat, as long as you build an organization as you go. If that makes sense. Even like the best businesses, they don't they didn't start out just like they are right now. They started out, operating, and they kind of refine as they go. So I think we're gonna do the same thing with this document. Ah. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think prep is gonna be a good way to go now? Like, 'cause, I mean, we can do this all day long and brainstorm this stuff all day long. Some of this was just getting it while people were on and kind of throwing things at me, just kind of getting it down and getting it, because I'm not gonna remember it. Because this, like I said, this can be a huge deal. This can be a huge deal. This is gonna have to be broken down like crazy between two stage and bottom loading. Pill techniques is pretty straightforward. Yeah, let's go into prep, I guess. This is a process overview. What if we do it here? We come up here and we start working on Yeah, I'm with you, Tim. I've looked at air peeling some, and I just don't like it as much. I peeled off the car. Right here. This is what I was trained doing. We, especially like if you're talking like a sedan, we always wipe down the windshield, wipe down the back glass, and once we cut everything, we would lay it on the windshield or the back glass in a way that we could peel it off of there. So, and then when we're done, kind of wipe that up. So, obviously I prefer off a peel board, because anytime I can do less work on the car and get the car less wet, everything goes quicker and easier. But like when I was mobile, I peeled off the car. And if you're talking like an SUV, we're peeling off the back glass. If you're talking like the back doors of trucks, that kind of stuff, I'm like wiping down the side of the truck or the side of the SUV, laying the window right there and peeling off right there even. So always had a glass. Spoiled. Yeah, the shop I learned at had a mirror on one side, and I was taught to mainly use that for like cutting and trimming. So we're not cutting and trimming on the car. But we never used his pill board because it was only on one side of the car. Sometimes I guess he would use it for the back glass, but peeling off the car is just so much easier. So prep. So let's walk through this, right? So you come in, vehicle pulled in, or it comes in the shop, I guess, or in this shop. And what? Obviously we go through some of the vehicle care. I don't know if we need to like refer back to that, if we were like put it into something like this. Keys, HVAC off, radio off. Did you see last month what I had to do with those semis windshield strips where I wrapped around my dry erase board? Oh, that was you. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember it specifically. I remember seeing something about some strip that had to wrap around. What's up, Dad? Good to see you on, man. Yeah, I remember seeing something about that wrap around on there. So let's see. Once we got the vehicle care, then we're on. So, I mean, if you're talking, I guess the hard part of this, if you're talking the tinter is pulling this in, there are a few things to get together, I guess. But I don't know. If you've got a workstation, that's what we should talk about, at least in here before we fall apart. So let's say tool care. If you gotta have like a tool station. I said stool station. That says stool station. Woo! All right. Yeah, I mean, in shop standards, because we're talking. No, okay. Here, I think this is something we need to add to shop standards. Is got trash cans. I see vehicle care. He can safety, clean for terminology. We need this. We need like a shop layout, like minimum stuff. Or like even what if you like gave like tiers to help people out? Good, better, and best, right? So like best is gonna be, you're talking a tool station. It might be mobile. Hey, Vinny, good to see you on, man. Whoa, Greg, what's up? You slipped in when I wasn't looking, bro. Again, if you scroll up, if you guys are commenting, if you scroll up in the Facebook comments, there is a way to join the live if you want. Again, I always say, you're good, whatever, do your thing. I just like to make sure I let you guys all know repeatedly that you are more than welcome to be on this. This is not like a just me sitting here doing this deal. Like this is all about tent fam and growing the tent fam. So, tool station mobile, you're looking at pill board. I prefer a mobile peel board. I'd rather have something that moved around the shop rather than something that's sat still, unless I could have something on both sides that was big enough for a back glass, maybe. But once I got to working with a pill board on the back, like where I could pull the car and have a pill board sitting behind the car, I fell in love with that style, man. Um, so yeah, and I have to share those plans of that pill board at some point. What else? You got tool station pill board. I mean, I don't want to go too far in this. You've obviously got a sink. You've obviously got shelving for stuff. I mean, this can go on and on. But this is a start, right? So we'll leave a note there. Started. We still got to finish that. What's up, Cash? Thanks for jumping on, brother. For those of you, I don't know if you've been on here or not before, Charlie. But a whole thing, the whole point of this window film shine program is it's called this shine. Comes from structured, hands-on, industry-based experience, and the whole point is Tim's throwing me off and like freaking squirreling me here. The whole point of this program is to develop a structured way to train someone, not specifically on here's how to teach them, but here are the skills to teach first. Here are the skills to teach second, so on and so on, right? So we're breaking down the complexity of the skills a little bit more. So basically, the goal is to for a business to be able to hire an apprentice, start teaching them some basic stuff, and as they're on for some time and they learn the basic stuff, shop care, shop upkeep, maintenance, all that kind of stuff, shop etiquette, workflow, cars in and out, work orders, like all that kind of stuff. Because if you got multiple people, you got to be organized with it, right? And then to be able to take them and teach them, all right, here's the basic skills you learn first. When you show me that you've taken care of all these skills, well, then we're going to show you this set of skills, right? Now we're going to teach you how to prep the car, maybe it's how to pull a panel or pull seals or tape the seals, little things like that. And then after you show that you learned those skills, then maybe we'll go into actual film handling. So kind of that kind of stuff. And again, I don't want to come in and try to tell someone here's how to teach someone to lay film. Like that's not what it is. It's more of, hey, they need to be able to bottom load. They need to be able to top load. And if they're going to top load, like here are a few like key techniques that can help in that process. And people can share those where they say, like there's a couple things I can think about, like when the film's buckled against a seal, you can either stick a card in there and pull the seal back and lay it in, or you can push on the other side of the finger and push hard to separate the glass from the seal and push it in. We'll have those like reference skills, but they won't necessarily be like telling someone how to train someone. It'll just be like doing it in these frames, I guess, doing it in this structure. So that's where the whole structured hands-on stuff comes in. So excuse me. Right now, I guess I'm working more on the prep side of things. We kind of last week we dove over, for those who are just coming on, we dove over some of the process overview to kind of like you just like vomit information sometimes and get it down, right? Oh, Greg, yeah, when you get a copy of that, man, I need a copy of that. I can dig through, man. We can definitely work that, man. For those of you who don't know, Greg Sloan has put together a book called How to Be a Film Star, and he's working on getting the copyright set up for it and getting all that stuff so he can get it published, and that'll be for sale. So keep an eye out for that when that comes. It's a very structured stuff, and we're working on some of it now live, and when he comes out with it, we're gonna be able to take what he's got and build onto it and make everything even better. So let's see. So while I just thought about it, I was like, yeah, like I like the idea of like good, better, best. Because I mean, good, you don't need a pill board, you don't need a tool station. You really just need somewhere to get water from. I mean, dude, when I was trained, we used to get our water out of a spigot, dude. Like we literally walk over and open up a spigot and put water in, dude. Like it was an old car wash bay. So there's no sink, there's drains in the floor, but like we're walking over and using a spigot to fill up our pump bottles, right? and then squirt some soap in. I mean, like, so like there's good, better, and best. And I like being able to give that kind of option to give people options for that too. So you get the vehicle in the shop. You've got to first get the vehicle in shape. What's up, Trey? Thanks for jumping on, brother. To get the vehicle in shape for that initial, I guess, care. So when someone pulls a car into the shop, if it's an apprentice, is what we're thinking, right? We're breaking this down as if we're doing this for an apprentice, not like the actual process the winter tinner is going through, because we all know that process, right? So the apprentice next, if we're talking vehicle prep, would next be, I guess, wiping down some of the windows. I mean, so here's a question for you guys: like, how far should we take that style? So when I was peeling off the outside and hand cutting, I'm wiping down the outside of the windows. But when I have a pill board to pull off of and it's plotter cut, I'm not wiping anything down if I don't have to, especially the outside of the vehicle. Like, I'll wipe down seals, the inside, the top edge, some like that kind of stuff, but I don't want to wipe down too much. So, but what's up, Corey? But if we're working on like etiquette and all, like, I don't want to take it too far and make them do things we don't need to do. But I'll leave a question mark there. Like, what do you guys think? Okay, Tim, I only clean the outside when I'm done, and unless I'm hand cutting, I'm the same way, man. So if they're prepping, I guess let's put this first, right? Because what they will need to do is, yep, good point, Tim. Is, oh fucking, now I squirreled. They will need to, where is it? Oh, if it's like, because we got to consider this, like rainy or snowy days, clean/dry car, right? Around windows. I mean, not really dry. I don't know. We'll refine that, I guess, at some point. Yeah, and Ray's right too. Like, I like to wipe down about 10 inches around my area of peeling on the car. And I'm the same, especially like if I'm peeling off the windshield, the windshield or the back glass, I'm the same. Like, I'll wipe all that stuff down. Basically what I tell people is I'm trying to get the loose dirt up. So I wipe all that down with the windshield, a little bit around the windshield. Like if I'm hand cutting on the sides, like I'll wipe the glass down. I'll wipe like the pillar down, the B pillar, the A pillar some, and up under the window some to kind of get that stuff off. So here's Greg. Greg says something right here, man. Usually a DRL at that point because you're turning the key on, but keys on, right? If you're about to tinting the vehicle. Some people have room to just pull cars in the shop and let it sit there until they're ready for it. What's up, Maverick? Taylor says, initially I like to roll down windows all the way and wipe seals. So let me ask you this, Taylor. Do you do that? Thanks for jumping on, by the way. Do you do that where you wipe down all the windows at once? Or do you go and wipe each window as you're tinting that window? There's a question for you. Yep. And this is what I'm talking about, Trey. Like out here, like I know down there in the Georgia area, sometimes like, you get some rain, and it just rains all day long. So if what is it? Yeah, squeezing that window off, getting the windows dry, especially if you're shrinking the back glass, that kind of stuff. Okay, I see, Taylor. Yeah, we kind of went over this some, Cash. I like that idea. He says, yeah, use a battery reserve / charger if you learn it because you will take a decent time. Yeah, we kind of talked about some of that, about making sure you have something. And I guess that would be something to have too. This thing's going to be super long, dude. Because we mentioned that some up here in vehicle care. And we're like, we may refine that and put that in different areas. But just like overall things to think about. Like we talked about power down accessories. Let's see. HVAC, And we kind of went over this too. Like, if you notice the battery is low, like if it had a slow start, make sure you hook up the charger. Some people do every time. I feel like every time would be a waste of time, but it would at least like this pay attention, you know. So like I like that thing. Like you got to have a battery charger, man. It's gonna be super important. So. All right, let's see where are we at now. So let's see on rainy or snowy days. Yep, you kind of do that. So thinking from an apprentice perspective, right? They don't deal with film yet. They're not really taping yet, but I guess we will kind of throw that into prep. So so once they get in, right? Vehicles in, keys on. They've turned everything off that they need to turn off. They have a door open. They're ready to start. And I guess at this point, if you're prepping, I guess at this point it might help to either pull seals, tape seals, and then eventually start kind of like wiping the area down and wiping seals out. If that makes sense. No, and I agree, Tim. Yeah, just because your battery dies once doesn't mean you've killed the battery. Now, if it's like a deep start battery, the big problem is some of those like deep start batteries have like a ton of cold cranking amps. Their what do we call them? Their plates in them are porous, especially if they're like a lead acid battery, are porous to allow more energy to flow faster. So those are more prone to the panels. I don't know what they call them, warping a little bit, and that'll damage the battery. But one time shouldn't kill the battery. That's like if you're like force draining it, like you're hooking a freaking starter up to it and just cranking starter until it goes all the way down. Like that one time probably still won't damage it, but that will start that process some. But most cars don't have like an ultimate start. Like you're usually talking about like big classic cars who need a lot of cold cranking amps to turn that big ass engine over, something like that. Now modern day stuff is a standard, battery that's not going to have the same kind of porous stuff in it. So. Why is that, Cash? Say it out loud, brother. Yeah, I want to hear that, man. Right, I like this, Trey, and this is something, man. Some people do like the dings, people don't mind it, but yeah, I like to either leave that door shut as much as I can is the big thing, or I mean, you can consider making it standard to trip that door too, and hanging a rag or something like that. So anytime I trick a door, right, trick the latch. Anytime I trick that latch, that metal post thingy. I think last time we couldn't figure out what the hell to call that thing, but that post, the it's more of a hoop nowadays, right? Inside there, I'll hang a rag inside there. So if you got that door trick shut and you end up shutting it, especially if you're talking frame door, and you go to shut it, it doesn't have that big clunk to it. So, but yeah. So is this a voltage issue, Cash? Like I guess if your charger goes up to like 15 volts or something like that, it can cause a problem because. I personally don't see how if it was at the typical 14 volts, how it could damage computers. So I'd love to hear more insight on that, man. I hear you. Okay, so that leaves something to be said about checking your actual charge voltage. All right, where are we at with this? I see you, Trey. So where are we at, man? All right, here we go. All right. So then you're talking, I mean, once you got the vehicle in, let's say it's rainy or snowy, they've dealt with that, right? The car's dry, the car's where it needs to be there. I mean, if I've got someone to help prep, like I'd want them to wipe the side windows down. Almost, like. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of it, but I'd hate to teach something that doesn't need to be taught. I guess if that makes sense. So maybe from here we'll start talking about. So at this point, you can roll windows down. I mean. clean seals. No. Before you do that, remove seals. We'll put if bottom loading. If bottom loading. Remove seals / panel, because it depends. Ideally, if you can move the seals, it's better. Well, you would think so, Tim, and I've been at shops where people didn't do that. They just get the car in the shop because it's cold as shit outside, and they just dump it off in the floor and squeeze it off out the door. So, but yeah, I like the idea, but some people, man, when it's 20 degrees outside, if there's drains in the shop and room, some people would just pull it in and brush it off. Let's see, roll windows down. I guess we can here to clean. Happened there. E like disappeared. Clean seals. Corey says tape for felt gaskets. Yeah, I think so. I think at this point, because I mean, if they have felt seals, you'll want to tape those. Not even. I mean, I don't even wipe those down. If it's felt, I'm just gonna, because I'm covering it all up anyways. So I guess we should focus on that first, right? Yeah, tape felt seals. If I don't know if they're there, I don't know. That's where we're ready to put it, right? All right, tape felt seals. Let's do this. Let's put this as seals, right? Prepare seals. Air seals. Tape felt seals. What do you say, Corey? One of the first things we do after covering door panels. Man, see, then he's even bringing this in, man. Covering door panels. Dude. What's up, Jeff? Jeff's down in Denver, man. I went and hung out with Jeff Rutherford earlier today, man. It was fun. We had some pizza and talked window tint, man. All right, now we're slamming stuff at me. Have some, Tim, what? Oh, I want to try Matt's new tape and door cover stuff. Okay. So, yeah, I guess, man, now you hit me with that. So, yeah, cover door. I mean, if we're really getting into, like, really teaching someone good stuff, man, like, prepare door panels first. I mean, do that before you spray, right? Is a concept. Apply door panel covers. I mean, is there anything else to do? Does that need multiple lines? I don't know. So what's up, Alex? Good to have you on, man. Thanks for jumping on, dude. So we're just kind of hanging out, working on building out the window film shine program. Before I get into that, I want to read this. The Euro cars are powered through grounds rather than positive battery activated switches and relays, static charges. Ah, yeah, right. There's a lot more negative switching stuff in some of those. So I like where Corey's going with this. So what we're building here for those that just jumped on, Alex and Jeff, I don't know if you guys know exactly what we're doing here, but we're working on building out the Window Film Shine program. Shine stands for Structured Hands-On Industry-Based Experience. And it's basically a structured way to, it's basically a way to hand a structured way to train to someone, especially like businesses who want to bring someone on and start training someone from the ground up. It's a apprentice model, right? Where you hire an apprentice on, you teach them a base set of skills, and then you teach them a more advanced set of skills, and then a more advanced set of skills. So we're kind of working out, laying out the process, and then dividing it up into kind of like, what would you teach someone first? Then what would you teach them? Then what would you teach them? Kind of deal. So that there's a little bit of a structure there, and you're not diving into film handling and like the good stuff right off the bat. So maybe you don't want to train someone how to like film right off the bat, because you might be training your competition, right? If you got a good attitude, you're never training your competition. But some people have that mentality, and then every once in a while, someone comes along that just an employee, like an apprentice, who has a bad attitude, and they may be they may think, hey, I'm just gonna go off on my own now. I can tent now. So we're just trying to kind of help make sure you got the right people on your team before you really dive into like the really heavy stuff. So I think this where Corey's getting is not just door panels, but let's say prepare panels maybe. Yeah, and I like this. So something that I really recommend too, if you're talking observe for existing damage to any part of the vehicle, no matter what, you're going to miss something once in a while, right? So there should definitely be a way, especially if you're in a shop with multiple people, because if you've got an apprentice, you've got a second person, right? My process, my standard way of doing this is if you see damage on a vehicle that you don't know if it's reported or not, before you start working, like when you say you go to grab a door panel to pull on it and you see something wrong, you stop. Hey man, come take a look at this. I want to show you this big scratch on here. I was about to pull the panel to open it off. Haven't had any tools over here yet. Just wanted to show you that before I actually work on this panel. Because once you start working on that panel and you've had tools around that, and you ask me to come up and look at it, I'll be like, hey, have you already like worked on this panel? Yeah, took it off, man. I noticed a scratch. And I can be like, well, I don't know if it was there or not before, man. Like, I want to stand behind people, right? So that's a big thing there. So we'll prepare panels. So we apply door panel covers. Let's say apply dash towels. Apply. Some people like dash towels and rear window. Maybe. So but basically I like the idea overall of, yeah, again, I like the pictures too. So like if you do, let's say you're going to start working on, like, let's say you're doing a check-in with a customer, right? Because I highly recommend those, that you actually check in a vehicle, not just take some keys and send the customer on their way, right? Oops. But I really recommend you look in there, open the door, glance around. All right, open the door. All right, cool. Like look around a little bit real quick. Takes a quick look. But if you do take a what is it? I just scrolled again from freaking comments on here. If you do find damage while you're working on it, right? As soon as you see it, I like the idea of a picture of it. I like how even with TentWiz have a way to upload it. So it'd be really neat. Like I love the idea if you're working on someone's car and you see something, you take a picture of it, you send it to the person, and they're like, "Hey, look, we just found this on your car before we worked on this area." Like, and cameras in your shop can be a huge help too to prove that you weren't working on that before you took a picture. So again, cameras are a good way to go too, man. Yeah, freaking Bill Murray over here talking about using a barbecue chicken leg to clean the felt. So if you got barbecue left in your tent, it was probably Bill. Yeah, and this, I honestly say, this is part of the check-in process. Is like what I highly recommend, Cash. Maybe we can come up with a document like that too at some point about checking the whole process. Cause I always make sure the windows does it. I don't take them all the way down. I just like, hey, does it roll down? Cool, it does. Does it roll back up? It rolls up. Hit the locks, check the mirrors, all that kind of stuff. Because when I was in my last position at Car Toys, there was a lot more other 12-volt work being done on it too. So sometimes you're just making sure the stuff that's going to be taken apart works, so that once it gets put back together, you can check everything works. Yeah, I like that, Tim. Towels go on almost every dash or back deck. I like the idea of that. It's not something I've ever done, but if we're talking about something to teach someone, like good practices to teach someone, from the beginning on, I think it's a good way to teach, man. So yeah, we start there about prepare panels. Apply door panel covers, dash towels, rear window towels, prepare panels. Let's see if tinting near them, right? Oh, something like that. Because there's no point if you're pulling to do a windshield, you don't need to put a door panel cover on. Same thing if you're doing just sides and rear, you don't need to put a dash towel on. So unless you really want to brand that to the customer, like, look, we cover, no matter what, we cover your dash, maybe, or something like that. So yeah, especially going across a speaker grill, man. Rub that skin knuckle right off. Yep. And this is why, Corey. This is a big thing that I really like the idea of going this route. I think it will help out big time, at least in your branding to your customer. Like, look, and another thing I'll get in a second is look at the steps we take to protect your car when we're spraying water all over your car. Look at the steps we take to protect things from getting wet, right? I'd also like to mention too that I've seen more and more people. I don't see many people talking about it, but I've seen some people say they'll actually have their customers sign a waiver when they're tinting the windshield, and they say, "Look, I didn't manufacture this car. I don't know how well it's built. I don't know if it's built properly. I don't know if there's drains in here. I don't know anything about that, right? But you want me to tint your windshield, right? Okay. If I'm going to tint your windshield, some water is going to get behind these panels somewhere. I don't know where, right? Here's what I do to minimize that. I put dash towels. I put soak ropes. You know, we dry stuff. Even if you're like, hey, like on your vehicle on the Ram, there's a computer down here. We even cover that with towels, right? After all that, I'm not responsible if there's any water damage in this car, right? So I've seen that. So I've even seen people like they'll go the extra mile, right? We'll cover all this stuff. We'll do all this protection stuff to show you that here's how far we take our protection, but I'm not responsible if something gets wet. Yeah, I like this, Alex. And I think that's where we'll get eventually. Right now, we're kind of just compiling a bunch of stuff together. And then from there, I like the idea of building online resources and online documents. So imagine if you hire an apprentice at your shop, right? Let's say you wanted to hire someone. So you say, hey, I'm gonna hire this guy on, right? If you're part of this Shine apprenticeship program, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go online to your account that you have. You're gonna give this person access, which basically says, here's their name, here's their email, and here's a password I create for them, right? When you give them access to that, now they can go online and they can have access to some of these resources to watch, you know, and the shop who's a part of the Shine program has access to these, like you mentioned, these checklists that we can use on there. So yeah, I like the idea of that. I like the idea of making sure that these have easy documents and easy checklists to follow. Because the thing, imagine like a pre-flight plan, right? That like there's so much to check on an airplane, bro. Like they'll literally have like check, I checked that, yep, check that too, like every time, just to make sure you don't miss something. Yeah, and this is just something that customers are going to do sometimes, man. There's nothing you can do to keep that from happening. So, oh, what's up, Banjo? I didn't see you on here, brother. Thanks for jumping on, dude. We're just talking about the Shine program, man. Building out the structured, hands-on, industry-based experience program that we can first hand off to Mr. Bujanda, Jesus Bujanda, down at Jefferson High School, so he can teach this to his students, and then from there, we're going to take it even a step further. So let's see. If you're preparing seals, you're taping felt seals, you're cleaning seals. Well, here, hang on. Where do we put that at? All right. So here's something for you guys. I guess, and this would be the time to do it, right? Like, do you feel like this is the right time? So, like, say, like, you pull the car and let's say you jump out to the driver's door, right? You roll the windows down. If you're bottom loading, you pull the seal out, right? Or if you got to pull the panel off, you hang it, right? We're going to teach hanging. We're not going to teach it just like flopping over or something like that. And I really like the idea of not ever teaching, ever disconnecting something. If we could avoid that. Let's see. That would be, I guess, a part of vehicle care. I don't know. Maybe because we got some other things on there like that. So vehicle care would be never remove door panels, only hang with hangers. Because it'd be nice if we could avoid unplugging anything. Well, yeah, and I like to mention that Tesla wasn't a car that was built by a car company. They are a car that was built by a technology company, and I like to call them smartphone on wheels, man. Like they got a lot of bells and features and technology and software, all that kind of cool stuff. But that's about it. The rest of it is still they're still a brand new car company. I mean, they've been around for a little while, but in the grand scheme of car companies, they're still a brand new car company. They just started building cars, so yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, that's the Thomas is one they sells at Rose City Tinning. I think are gonna be a good route to go. I think that'd be a good thing to teach, man. I love the idea of teaching never pulling anything, never unplug anything you don't have to. Sometimes you have to unplug like a window switch to get to like a screw or anything like that. Well, I mean, if you're just getting to the screw, you can pull it out of the way, get to the screw, lay the switch back in, and then pull the panel maybe. So I don't know. But I like the idea of never unplugging anything if you don't have to. Where do we put this? Never unplug slash disconnect anything you don't have to, right? There might be a better way to say that, but never, here we go. Let's be fancy with this. Never unnecessarily unplug anything. There we go. Fancy words. And see this cache, I like the idea. I feel like honestly, it's better to leave it up to the style of the person teaching. I mean, to be honest, a shop that bottom loads everything, like, are they ever going to teach two staging? Right now, the apprentice can't be certified for a certain point if they can't do both. And technically, I think a trainer shouldn't be in an accredited trainer under this program unless they can do both. So, but it really depends on what they do. If I bottom load all day every day, I'm not going to teach you how to two stage until like later on, and I'm only going to teach you that to be able to credit you, right? To be able to say that you can, and then we can rock and roll. Like, let's be real about business, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time teaching you two staging if most of us here at the shop bottom load. I think that's going to be more important to teach you bottom loading, so that we can help you out a lot more, and other people can help you out in the shop a lot more. And then later on, for me to be able to write off your accreditation and say, hey, I approve this guy's accredited, I'm going to have to teach you two staging so that you can do it at least without, even if you might not be great at it, you can do it, right? And you can focus on learning and getting better and better at it. So, but I like where you're going with that, man. And I appreciate that input. Right. See, like, they don't even bottom load there, man. So, um, uh, same thing. Uh, same thing, man. You guys, so Corey, you guys would teach an apprentice how to two stage before you did anything else, man. And this, I don't know. I imagine it's a Tesla owner, especially when they buy one that's like 3 years old. Those are probably the worst ones. I remember in my stereo days when a guy would come in with a 7 Series BMW, right? And he walk in like, yeah, with his 7 Series. And we see them pull up, man. Like, we see them from a mile away, right? And they pull up and they walk in like they got this awesome like 7 Series BMW, and you're talking to them, and they don't realize that it's like a 8-year-old 7 Series with old technology, and then they want to grow. They want to add in like a navigation, a double D navigation unit in it. And I'm like, bro, you just rolled up in a 7 Series BMW with factory nav. Like, you barely afford that car. You're not going to want to pay me what it takes to put a freaking nav in here, man. I've done it in a 7 Series BMW, dude. It's not worth it, man. Yeah, man. I had this happen to me, not with a Corvette. Early on in my first stereo job, I had a customer who was like, I don't trust nobody. I want to pull the car in, right? And the owner came out and was like, no, we're pulling the car in. And she's like, well, I don't trust anybody with my car, and like, and she's also about to let me work on her car, right? I don't trust anybody with my car, right? So uh the owner would just say, look, well, if you don't trust us, why'd you bring it here? And if you don't trust us to work on it, then just take your car, like, go on somewhere, dude. So I know it hurts sometimes. You need the work, and you got to have that tough conversation about, like, no, not happening, bro. But yeah, when you got plenty of work, man, like, look, it ain't happening. Nope. I'm pulling your car in. I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to pull it out, and you're going to stand outside the whole time. Making sure you're not going to drive it up and down the road. Yeah, this is the big reason it comes down to it, man. Because if they back into your building and drive off, man, like good luck tracking them down to sue them or something like that, and good luck getting money out of them, right? That's wild though, Corey. Bro, some every once in a while, it's rare, and those folks who are those bad apples make us all look bad when they take a car up and down the road acting like a fool in it, man. So yeah, I agree, Andrew. We had in our stereo shop, we had yellow plastic chains across both doors, right? And they had a sign on it that said employees only. I mean, like hanging right there, right? You had to either step over the chain or go under the chain to get in our shop. It is amazing how many times people just walk right under it, or they'll step over or under it, right? And then they'll break the chain because they go under it, or and they just like push up on it, or they sit on it while they're trying to go over it, man. Whew. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck, brother. But yeah, all right. So see, I can squirrel all day long, right? So prepare seals. So you're taping the felt seals, you're cleaning the other seals, and then I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we'll break down. I think eventually we'll break down some of the prep. It's a big thing because there's some prep. I don't want them. I don't want someone who doesn't know how to work on a car doing it, right? But there is a prep things to do, right? Because you're talking about you clean seals, then you're talking about cleaning the glass, right? Clean the top edge, scrub the window, clean edges with blade. 'Cause you're handling blade at this point. Like I don't. I guess how do you guys do that, right? So when I've got a window, let's say I roll it all the way down, I pull the seal out, I wipe all my seals up, right? I roll it up some, wipe that top edge real good. I go all the way up with it. I spray the bottom section of it. I scrub it, and then I take my blade, run a little bit out, right, and I kind of go in the side, right, across the bottom some, and then into the front side or the other side, whichever it is. Then I'll crack it down. I'll scrub the rest of it, and then I'll scrape the sides just to make sure that those sides are cleaned out. Because you've all seen it at some point where the black rubber transfers to the window and leaves little pieces on the window. It's usually on an older car, but it happens, right? Or there's even sometimes like a little bit of grease in there from assembly or so. So, yeah, I wonder, what do you guys do there? Like, do you guys blade every window? Do you scrub every window? Like, how do you clean your edges? That kind of stuff. So, yeah, feel free to answer that. I'd like to know. What wind to slim ratio? Toyota and Lexus. It looked like you're doing voice to text. Right. See, like I've seen I helped a guy last week with a Porsche. Was it a 911 or was it a Carrera? I don't know. It was a Porsche, right? And I was just kind of like my basic scrub because I kind of like a newer cars. I just kind of like, let's do this, and I'm feeling as I go. But I noticed in the corner that it looked a little greasy up there, so I kind of scrubbed a little bit more up there. So, all right. So I like that, Tim, about a gator blade. So you don't even scrub at all. You just use a gator blade. That's interesting. Because I like how Andrew says always feel the window. Yeah, I like how at least like a hard tool like that, rubbing them down the window, you're gonna find the hard stuff, and you might hit it with the blade again, the gator blade again to kind of see. And if it's a big problem, you come out with a razor blade, right? Like I'm the same with a scrub pad, where I'm scrubbing and feeling at the same time. If I feel something, I'll go back and like scrub a little bit, and then if I can't get it off by scrubbing a little bit, I'll get a blade and kind of scrape it off. So. Yeah, sometimes what is it? Sometimes you got to wipe those more than you think. You know, it's a big thing, especially on an older car. Yeah, always fill the window, man. This is a big thing on windshields. If you clean a windshield at all, right? You're gonna tint a windshield. You scrub it down before you squeegee it. You should rub your hand all over it, right? All over it, man. Right. I don't do this on every window, Cash, but I like the concept, man. Like of just rubbing the window, and feeling it. I do it a lot. If I notice anything abnormal on a back glass before I scrub it, then I'll definitely feel it to make sure. So I don't do it on everything, but I've got a way of like there's not much that I like to do on everything, right? I like to have different techniques for different times. I'm an efficiency head, and like if I feel like I'm wasting time doing something, I'm not going to do it. Or if I feel like I need to add this in, like, hey, I need to make sure I take this extra step on this car, I'll do it to make sure. But um, yep. Greg sounds like he knows this from experience, just the way he typed it. Oh, and please, 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 pretty fucking please, don't blow torch the felt seals. Please don't blow torch the felt seals and just damage it. Like I'm a big thing of not damaging, not modifying a car unless I absolutely have to. And I don't even like cutting a hard seal if I don't have to. Every once in a while I will. Please do not torch the freaking felts, man. You're taking a soft material and you're hardening it and you're burning the car. You're damaging the car, man. Please don't torch those things, dude. I will not let you hear the end of it if I catch you doing that. Let's see. Clean edges with blade. And we can dive into that process. This is like, or we could dive into like what part to clean first, because that's going to depend on the installer, what the installer wants, I guess, what the trainer wants. Um, Wait, you use a flat glass blade, it's like a Triumph scraper, like the blade on the windshield, like Patrick does in his side swipe tool? That's neat. How do you attach that? But that's neat. I want to see a picture of that, dude. I want to see a picture of that, man, because that looks like you could slice your fucking arm off with that. Um, but no, I eventually got away from blades, man. For the most part, like I just saw that like how little they. I saw the limitations with the blade that I didn't see much for the scrub pad. I like the efficiency of a scrub pad first, and if I feel something I can't get, to blade it. If that makes sense. I don't like to blade everything. Not anymore. I was trained to blade every side window, right? Don't do it anymore, man. I mean, I don't. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I don't do it anymore. I like to scrub. But again, this is a big reason too, Tim. Why like that now that you bring this up, why I don't want to teach anyone exactly how to clean the window, because the trainer is going to teach them. The important part is that the window doesn't have anything stuck to it, right? So like that's part of what we're trying to do here with this thing. So I appreciate you bringing up, a different approach than what I normally do, man. So we'll say clean top edge. So I'll take this out then, because some people don't scrub, man. So we'll say clean the window. So you can scrub, pad, or scrape with blade, right? We'll put that. And I'd rather just always clean the edges with a blade, personally. If any of you use a scrub pad to get like really like, I'm talking like your gasket here, right? And your glass is going in some. Like, how do you clean that where wiping the window won't clean? How do you clean right behind that seal, right? I use a blade for that. I use like just my red dot and kind of scrape in there. So if any of you scrub that, I'm down for putting scrub on here, but I really think you should use a blade every time. Um, Yeah, if it works for you, if that helped you get a cleaner install, Tim, then you should definitely do it, man. Um, I don't like the blade. Like again, I started like staying away from blades as much as I could, but I like that. Leave it to RL to type a book on here, man. Leave it to RL, man. Short pause, read RL story. Oh man. Let's see. Clean the window, clean edges with the blade, cleaning. Here's something. If you've got someone prepping the windows for you, I guess so. I don't. So I'll put it this way: I don't care if I've got someone prepping the windows for me or not. I'm gonna squeegee that window right before I lay film, like right before I lay film on it. Even if I clean the window, I squeegee the window. If a minute or two goes by, like if I get distracted, I have to go do something real quick. I'll come back, spray, squeegee, then lay the window. So yeah, RL was traumatized by that one. He had to go back and rethink what it meant. Um, so that's something too. So I guess so. The and my question I was about to get into is like, should the what is it? Should the one doing the prep squeegee after they clean? And I think the easy answer is yes, because if something were to dry on there, like if you've got glue you're cleaning off and that dries, you come back, if you just spray and squeegee, you might not knock it off, right? So yeah, so uh because again, if unless I am laying the film right after the apprentice squeegees the film, the window, then I'm not going to hang on, distraction. So unless I lay the film right after the apprentice squeegees it, then I'm going to squeegee it. There we go. So let's say the apprentice, like, because imagine once the apprentice is in here like prepping the car, the installer is over prepping the film, getting the film cut out or however they're doing it, whether they hand cut or plotter cut. They're either getting the film, putting on the car to go doing that kind of stuff. So they're prepping that side of things. So then, yeah, I'm getting tired now. We gotta close out here in just a minute. So yeah, brain fart. Of course, notification pops up. Brain farts. That's why, like, for a lot of you guys, man, I don't. My Facebook, I don't have notifications on my phone for Facebook, man. That shit got too crazy. But squeegee windows dry, and pretty much leave it at that. I mean, so yeah, I think that's a good stopping point, man. Yeah, we got some in there. So yeah, so I appreciate y'all. That's a good stopping point. This is right. We're right at 58 minutes live. I came on 3 minutes late, and then for some reason the live didn't work, so I tried again. So, yeah, I saw I got something. Heard it go off, but so yeah, I'm gonna head out. You know, I was reading repeat when I said that. See, I'm getting so tired, my brain's just like saying what I'm looking at, right? Um, I just want to say thanks for everyone for jumping on, helping out. You know, helping out with building the Window Film Shine program. This is something I think is going to be super helpful to give a structured way to kind of train someone through, as opposed to just kind of going along and training as you go and teaching them things as you go. Like, I really like the structured way. I think it's going to be awesome. We're eventually looking to do a actual accreditation program, so we'll get into that later on. But I appreciate everyone for jumping on. Again, Tent Fam, I love you. I love you for coming on. I love you for helping. I love you for being a part of this. I just really appreciate you being here. Appreciate you commenting. Appreciate your input. And I just can't say thank you enough for being a part of this stuff. Is Greg says, is there a way I can add to the outline? 100%, Greg. Torres Window Tech, you just jumped on and we're about to close out. So I'll let you know what this is about. Feel free to go back and watch this. But we are building out what I'm calling the Window Film Shine program. It's an apprenticeship program. The Shine stands for a structured, hands-on, industry-based experience. So what we're doing is we're trying to build a high school class. There's a teacher down in the Denver, Colorado area, named Jesus Bujanda, who's teaching window tint to his students, wants to get a more structured way to teach it, right? So I said, hey, let's put together a class. And then I got to talking about what if we can make this like an actual, like, decentralized accreditation program to where we can have accredited trainers all over, and the accredited trainers are people working at the business laying the film, right? So sometimes the owner themselves isn't the actual accredited trainer. It's going to be the person installing the film teaching the apprentice. So the whole goal is for a business to hire an apprentice and teach them through a process, through a structure of, here are entry level skills. You've never worked in a shop before, so here you go. Here's a little bit of skills of shop care, shop maintenance, shop etiquette, safety, that kind of stuff, right? They start working through that. They might be moving cars. They might be picking up after the end of the job. They might be wiping up, like little things like that, right? Helping clean the floors, that kind of stuff, to see their work ethic, see their attitude, right? Once they learn that, now they're going into more of like prepping on the vehicle, hands on the vehicle, some to help clean the vehicle up before and help clean the vehicle up after. And then eventually you go into some actually film handling skills. And then we break those down based on complexity to see what level to teach when, not necessarily how to teach it, but a structure of when to teach it. And what skills to group together to give a really structured way to help grow people in this industry and to give business owners a structured way to train. So that's pretty much what this is all about. And we're just trying to build out that program so that we can be able to teach. Be able to bring people on, train people, have a high school program, have a decentralized, nationwide, maybe even like worldwide apprenticeship program. So basically an apprenticeship accreditation program. So yeah, I appreciate you jumping on. If you want to watch the rest of it, go back where we go through where we're building a lot of it. So I just want to say, everyone else, say good night. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you again, Tent Fam. I love you. Love you for being here. Love you for helping. I love your input. I love the conversation, all that stuff. So thank you so much for coming, and we will catch you next time. Make sure you're around for the Monday Tent Fam shenanigans, and we'll see you there, or we'll see you on here next week. So talk to you later.